Hi there, Robin here from Expert On. Today we're going to be talking about mixers. Now, I have covered these mixers in the past, but I wanted to come back to it. I wanted to talk about some of the features that I missed on the last one and make it a little clearer what the differences are between the three of them. So how this video is going to work today is I've got a top-down camera right here, and we're going to focus on the 83. So on the table right now we do have the PMXU83BT, the 83BT, and the 63BT, three very popular mixers for a lot of different reasons. But what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the 83, and I'm going to talk about the differences on this 43 and the 63 at the end. So it's a 4-channel mixer, 8-channel mixer, and a 6-channel mixer. All the mixers have a lot of great features that are repetitive across the entire system. There's very little differences between them, but they are important. So what we'll do is we're going to focus on the 83, and at the end of the video I'll have some drop down video where we talk specifically about the 43 and the features that are unique or not included on the 43 that we do find on the 83, and then we'll do the same thing with the 63. We'll give it equal comparisons against the 83 and what features it's missing. So from this point we'll zoom in on this unit here. We'll talk specifically about all the features and how it works, including the Bluetooth, the USB, the MP3 options, the recording options that are built into the system, and the options that are for the computer as well. There we go. That's what it's all going to be about today. So here it is, the PMXU83BT. There's a 63 and a 43, but this is really all going to be about this guy here, and we'll recap the rest at the end. On here, we've got 4 mic inputs, plus we have on the side another 5 and 6, 7 and 8. So a total of 8 channels on the unit. These are combo jacks. Now the big important thing about the combo jacks is, unlike some other brands, and I'm not knocking the brands by saying this, these can be used either for pad, so they can always be a mic input, or they can always be a line input just by using this pad button. So even though you see, and again, I'm not knocking this, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything bad, I think this is a great mixer from Soundcraft. These jacks right here, same combo jacks. Now, combo jacks here, you have to be specific. If you want to have a microphone, you're going to have to plug an XLR 3-pin into that. If you want to use a line in on that, you're going to have to use a 1/4 inch. So there is no pad button on here. There are other features, but that's very important. Now again, not knocking it, just comparing. Here's a Mackie Mix 8. Now, again, nothing with the brand, nothing with the model. It's the jacks we're talking about. Traditionally, we're going to see a 3-pin mic only on top, and then a line only 1/4 inch at the bottom. So we have to be specific about what we use. On Pyle's consumer products, which is what this is all about, combo jack. I can plug in both my 3-pin microphone, and you know that free cable that comes in the box with so many microphones, or oops, I bought the wrong model, 1/4 inch. Plug that in. Make sure the buttons are pointed upwards so the pads are up. Bring up the gains, the volumes on both of those. Turn a mic on. There we go. So they're set up exactly the same. I'll just dial them both up to 10 to make sure the comparison's there. And there we are. So we both have the same. The mics are slightly different, but that's just because they're different mics. We've got 1/4 inch. We've got XLR. Again, big advantage to having that on a mixer like this. Now we still have gain controls. Then we have a 3-band EQ. We've got our highs, mids, and lows all labeled down here. We've got our effects that are built in, which is located over here. We've got basically 16 different settings. Using this dial here, we can make it extreme. We even have, and this is really nice to have as well, at the bottom of that dial, we've got this, and that's the repeat option. So we can take this 16 and we can expand it to an infinity of adjustments just by using that dial there. So I turn that up crazy, and I turn up the volume a little bit, turn up the gain on this mic here, and there we are. All you got to do is give it 3 seconds every time you readjust it, and it's all set, ready to go. All right, so next is what's going on over here. Here we've got ourselves our MP3 USB recording feature. So yes, this will actually record if you take a USB stick, stick it in the machine, and there you go. that quickly. Now, it'll default as a player, which is what it's doing right now. And if you take it out, it'll default as nothing. I can press the mode button and I can choose it to be in Bluetooth. This is where the magic happens. I take the USB stick, I stick it in there. Yes, it's playing music now, but if I press the mode button, it goes to Bluetooth. Press it again, it goes to REC. I know you're probably having a top-down view of flickering lights, but trust me, it says REC. Now, all I need to do is press this button right here, and it will start to record whatever's going on channel 1 through 6. It will record all of that for us. All the settings, it's basically recording what's coming out of the main. This is the one little trick about it, is that you do have to play around with it initially to find the proper gain and levels, so this way it sounds good and you get a proper recording out of it. It does take a little bit of tweaking and it does take a little bit of work with the gains and the levels, but once you know what's going on after trial and error, it'll work out really well for you. Take that out of there, all set. Now, the Bluetooth, it's 2.1, easy, convenient. Again, if you're going to use this for karaoke, the Bluetooth is a straightforward way of doing it. If you're lucky, you have a smart TV with Bluetooth on it, you can pair the TV directly to this. Use your smart TV for, let's say, YouTube or any of the karaoke apps, and you're all set. Your microphones are in here. It's pulling the music into this unit here. It's coming all down on channel 7 and 8 in this case, which is what this button here is for. That's straightforward. When you look at the other buttons next to it now, we're in the channel 5, 6, 7, and 8. Remember, there is a button here for 7, 8 USB. Either I'm using an analog version of 7 and 8, or I push that button in to use the digital version, which is the MP3, USB, Bluetooth options that are all located here. This is what's specific about the 83. These RCA jacks on top. Yes, they do traditional tape in, tape out options, and they're censored. So there's no control knob or switch to turn these things on and off. But this, the 5 and 6, it's redundant to the 1/4 inch. So if I have a basic set of RCA cables and I don't have adapters like these, I can just use these straight up, no adapters required, right on top. If I plug these in here, channel 5 and 6 RCAs, let's say this leads off to a CD player or to any analog equipment that I have that's going to be hooked up through RCA. There you go, done. No adapters needed for that. I don't have to go out and buy special cables. It's all ready to go. Now the same thing applies if you're using an auxiliary cable such as this. I want to plug this into a tablet or into a computer, even though maybe I decided not to use the USB for some reason, I can just plug that in on top. But again, why do I need this? If I own a Mac, and I'm going to get into that in a second when it comes to the PC, this is how you're going to get your audio from your laptop or computer into the system. The idea there is eliminating the use of adapters. Talking about computers, this is what we're going to talk about next, which is the USB port. There's a cable included with the actual unit. It's a standard USB cable, a little odd because they're both the same connector on it, but here, if I plug this in here, and I plug the other end now into my laptop, as long as it's a standard PC, so sorry Mac users, this does not have, right now, currently at the time of the video, drivers for it. I could be wrong. If it happens, let me know, and I will update it for you. But, again, 2 channels in, 2 channels out. That's the most important thing. So we get 2 channels into the system, so I can bring music straight from my laptop into here, and I can take straight from here as a 2-channel track right into it. They do not, Pyle does not include currently software as a bonus or a trial version of any kind, but it does pick up as an external USB card on your computer. So just right click on your speaker icon, look at your properties, you'll see this show up as an external USB sound card, both ways, 2 in, 2 out, easy enough to use. We've got some traditional connections here off to the side. We do have our headphone jack. We've got our control room out, so if I need, instead of headphones, I want to run a second speaker, there you go. The control room out also gets substituted for subwoofers sometimes. You want to hook up your subwoofer separately from your main speakers, no problem there. You also get a send and return option. Like they referenced in the instructions, you can take that send option and just use it as a full frequency output, or you can use the return option on its own as well. But there you go, send and return. Outside of that, everything else is nice. The buttons are smooth. I've said this in other videos. Pyle pretty much got a home run with this mixer. They're one of the newest ones on the block from all the other brands. So everything they need to do right to get this to work out really well is there. If it had software, if it had Mac drivers, that would be like perfect. But outside of that, no problem. It's not a proprietary power supply, even though it may look like it. It is a standard 4-pin power supply that Mackie used on previous models for years, and it's still available out there as a replacement. So if you lose it, just look for a mini Mackie mixer power supply and you should be able to find one. There you go. So everything about this mixer we've pretty much covered. The unique things about this mixer is going to be these RCA plugs. That's what's unique about this. Now, of course, it is 8 channels, and they do give you 4 on the mic side, 4 on the line side, giving you a total of 8. They do have flashy lights. They've got a great DSP, but all those features are going to be repeated on the other models. So let's take a quick look at the 63, and then we'll take a quick look at the 43. Here is the 63. Now the 63 is a 6-channel mixer. We'll notice that compared to the 83, it ends at line 5 and 6. So we don't have 7 and 8, and we don't have those RCA jacks located on top. So here, when you want to hook up an external device to it, via an analog connection, so RCA cables or an auxiliary RCA cable connection, we need to use our adapters. We push those in here. These can be found online for just a few dollars, so that'll allow you to get your RCA attachments on top, and that's the best way to do that. But it also shares this button here, which is our channel 5.6 USB, so I can't use the Bluetooth or the MP3 player at the same time as these two, so that's always a choice. But you do get 4 microphones here, so if need be, I do have 2 mics here. If I wanted to use my USB and I had some other audio source that I need to use, I can plug those 2 adapters in there and make that work. Just remember to push these 2 buttons down, and now these are line inputs. These will still remain as mic inputs because these pad buttons are up. If you need phantom power, and I didn't mention this on the last one, they do all have 48-volt built-in phantom power options on all their mic inputs. Outside of that, it's exactly the same as the 83, except for, of course, these 2 options right here, which is the fact that we don't have channel 6 and 7, and we don't have RCA backups on top. There you go. That's a 63BT. Now we'll talk about the 43. And here we are at the 43. 4-channel mixer. So again, the 63 6-channel mixer has 4 mic inputs. The difference is we only have 2 mic inputs, not 4 of them. That's what they cut down on the 43. We still have channel 3 and 4 off to the side. We still are using a toggle switch to go between channel 3 and 4 and the USB. So that really brings us down to these 2 if we plan on using the actual unit in the center. So outside of that, everything else is the same. 43, best economical, bang for the buck. 63 just costs a wee bit more, and the same thing with the 83. One thing I didn't cover at the very beginning with the 83 is hooking it up to a speaker. Now, you can use a DI box or not. The connections are unbalanced, so I can just plug in an unbalanced 1/4-inch cable into that unit there, and I believe just fine. Now, if I choose to, I can run it through a DI box. I can just use a proper connection. So in this case, I'm using an alto speaker off to the side here. It only has a 3-pin XLR. So you would think I need to use that DI box to make the conversion. But if you get a 1/4-inch unbalanced, because that's what's going on here, to a 3-pin XLR and connect those 2, we're going to work just as fine as using the DI box. So that's up to you. If you've got long runs, then maybe you use DI box. But if you're just using it for fun, for projects, that sort of thing, and you're going to be under 50 feet of cable or 25 feet of cable on each speaker, you're okay just doing this. That'll work out just fine. So there we go. That's my new updated review. Now remember, USB not for the Macs, but it does record directly onto the machine by putting in a USB stick right in there. So that's a big, big bonus on a machine like this. Again, they did really well. The distortion ratings, the frequency responses, all of that is all within par with all the other companies, starter, entry-level, good project mixers. So there we go. We'll see you on the next review. I hope you liked it. If you're looking for any links for any of this or any more information, like where you can buy it, we're an affiliate now. All that information is down there for you. It doesn't matter where you live, US or Canada, it'll be there for you, as well as details on all of these products. See you on the next one. Bye for now.